Hey guys, Peter here to talk about the debut record from Khandra, All Occupied by Soul Death, on May 28th on Season of Mist. This album has 7 tracks, 43 minutes in length, and they are a Belarus black metal band. Now, the album structure is the weakest spot on this record. At first I thought it was just going to be the intro, because the intro doesn't really go anywhere. It stands very isolated. It doesn't connect well with the next track. It doesn't add anything to the overall playability of the album. It doesn't add anything to the overall atmosphere of the record. But then as I progress down the line, I start to notice that the songs don't really flow one into the other. They're very broken. They're very singled out within the overall experience of the record. So this is not an album that's linear, fluid, interconnected, that offers great playability as you move from one track into the next. It's the actual opposite. It really feels like you're listening to 7 individual singles being put together in a compilation style record. So it feels broken, it feels disconnected, and it hurts the overall playability of the record while not really impacting the quality of the individual tracks. Now, once you get into the soundscape, I really like the sound on this record. I like how it was recorded, I like how it was delivered, and I like the overall depth of sound and depth of experience that really gives to the listener. This is an album that has a lot of different layers for you to digest as far as the soundscape is concerned. It really offers different looks, different feels within the tracks themselves. You don't have to go from song to song to experience something different. You're going to get those experiences within the tracks because they have incredible ups and downs, super dynamic, pushing the boundaries of where you're going to go with the track, with the sound, with the experience, with the atmosphere, and all of that comes from the style in which the album was recorded, in which was delivered, and the overall idea that they had for this record. So I like how raw it is, I like how gritty it is, but at the same time it's not muddied. You can still hear all the different elements. You can hear the drums, you can hear the guitars, bass, vocals. You can hear everything, and you can feel exactly what they're providing to the album while creating this overall encompassing atmosphere, encompassing sound that really becomes a staple across all 7 tracks. Within that soundscape, there are 2 pillars, the drums and guitars. I love the drums on this album. It's perhaps one of the highlights of this album is how the drums sound, how they were recorded, how consistent they are, and the incredible foundation that they provide on every single track. They are the motor of the record. They are the motor of the songs and overall the motor of the album. It just feels so powerful on every single track. Heavy, intense, aggressive, cooling things down, just laying low, knowing exactly when to come back up again, when to have power, when to have strength, when to direct the attention of the listener, but always with the same intent and always with the same result, which is providing this baseline, providing this incredible roadmap on which everything else is built upon and everything else travels on it. I just love the drums on this album, period. Then you have the guitars. The guitars are a little bit more diverse. They pull you in different directions. They give you different perspectives. They give you different feels, different emotions, different atmospheres. Sometimes a little bit more gritty, sometimes a little bit more driven, sometimes a little bit more dark, more methodic, more melancholic. There's a lot of different angles that the guitars are giving you, and they're really working those ebbs and flows that are necessary in order to make the songs as dynamic as they are, but always consistent in terms of the quality that they provide, not necessarily consistent in terms of the results that come to the forefront. On top of it all, you have the vocals. The vocals are the glue that holds this album together, that really tries to control. You almost feel like the vocals are trying to control all the other elements, trying to control the drums, guitars, the direction of the tracks, and keep them in line, keep them on this roadmap, keep them on this path that they need to be. And they offer a very consistent outlook from the first song to the last song. They never really change, they never really vary, same tone, same delivery, same approach, but it's a consistency that works well for the record because the album, like I said, within the individual tracks is very volatile, very dynamic, incredible ups and downs, and you need something that allows the tracks to feel a little bit more grounded, or at least feel a little bit more balanced. The vocals is that element. Overall, I enjoy the record, but this album is going to come down to how you listen to it. If you're listening to it on Spotify, or listening to a track here and there, you're going to get the quality of the record, you're going to get the quality of the songs, because that's undeniable. It's going to jump into the forefront. But if you're listening to this album from beginning to end, you're going to feel the same way that I did, which is very choppy. It's an album that doesn't really have that necessarily playability that keeps you connected with it from the first all the way to the last track, and you don't really want to get off of this ride until the ride is over. It just feels like it needed a little bit better tools, a little bit better mechanisms in order to have more of a more seamless movement from song to song. As far as individual tracks are concerned, I want to start off with Nothing But Immortality for I. The drums lay the groundwork, absolutely phenomenal. The guitars drive the experience, and together they both create an insane atmosphere throughout the song. A track that offers depth, that offers a lot of dynamic mechanisms, ups and downs, and never stays constant. It never stays linear from the beginning all the way to the end. The vocals balance the track out, but the drums are just absolutely phenomenal. And the guitars really help the drums come to life as well. The two really work well, those becoming the highlights of this song without a shadow of a doubt. Next, in Harvest Against the Sun, great track, a little bit more atmospheric, at least as it starts. It leads you to believe that it's going to be a more methodic track because of the way it builds up. But once the gates open, you can realize that this is a track that has a lot of ferocity to it, that has great movement, great intensity. The drums are thunderous, the guitars drive the approach, they push the song forward. And this is a track that comes to life, that has ups and downs, and it's not one-dimensional and definitely not one-directional. It changes the eyesight of the listener as you progress through it. Last but not least, you have Thanatos. It has a slow build-up. I like that. It's a nice intro. It really allows you to kind of walk your way into where you need to go, but once you get into it, the song starts to become a roller coaster ride, changing eyesight, changing perceptions, moving up and down, sideways. It just never stays in one spot for a very long period of time. It comes back to the same spots again throughout the experience. It's not like it's giving you new looks at every single turn. No, there is a pattern to this track, and it follows a certain specific diagram, but it comes in and it moves around so much that you almost forgot exactly where you were started or where the starting point was. So even when you're being brought back to it, you don't really even realize that you're being brought back to it. You just feel like you're at a different place again. That is the volatility that this track has, but it's just insane in terms of the sound that it has, in terms of how it carries itself and how it moves forward. Once again, the drums are just phenomenal on this song. The guitars really drive the experience, and they drive a lot of different emotions out of that experience. Haunting at times, a little bit more dark, a little bit more melodic, a little bit more driven. A little bit of everything is coming out of the guitar sound on this track, and then the vocals are the glue that holds it all together. Perhaps the song that better describes the overall experience of the album, because everything that you're going to get on this record as far as sound, vocals, experience, and atmosphere are present within the song. This is it. This is Khandra with All Occupied by Soul Death, out May 28th on Season of Mist. Let me know your thoughts on the band, on the singles. Use the comment section below. I'll be reading those and getting back to you. Take care, guys.